Welcome to The Last Mile, where Olga Mack and John Lindsey share how to get legal in sales to stop fighting and start closing clean.
Welcome, everyone, to this episode 5 of The Last Mile, Why Your Contract is Your Brand's Love Letter. Where sales meets legal, I'm John Lindsey, your sales partner in truth-telling, here to help you close deals without torching trust at the finish line.
Well, hello, everyone, and I'm Olga Mack, legal strategist, advocate for fair terms, and a firm believer that contract is more than just a legal safeguard. It is your brand's love letter to your customer.
Love it. And today we're going to unpack that idea because the contract is often the first real moment that your prospect gets to see your company unfiltered, past the pitch deck, past the demos, past the promises. So why does it matter? By the time the contract hits the inbox, the customer is emotionally and practically invested. They're picturing working with you. They've compared options. They've started telling colleagues, we found our vendor.
Yeah, and here's a risk. The contract can confirm that trust. It also can absolutely positively implode it, collapse it.
Yeah, Olga, it's like sending a love letter after months of dating. If the tone shifts from romance to terms and conditions of being in this relationship, you might end up being single again. So the key quote here, if your brand says partnership and your contract says control, well, you've just introduced doubt at the absolute worst possible time.
Yeah. You have to understand, as someone who's trained in law, when I compare contracts to love letter, that's a major upgrade. So clearly, I have a view of contracts and the future of law that is very positive. But, keep in mind, buyers interpret your contract through cultural lens. Mutual obligations, for example, we're equals in this deal. And this is very important. Clear language. They respect time and my intelligence. Balanced risk. They trust their product. Fair exit terms. They want me here willingly, not trapped. I don't know what your courtship was like with your spouse, but, frankly, I remember filtering every DM and conversation through exact things. Does he value me? Am I here willingly? Will I enjoy this after the deal is sealed? So to me, it makes sense that contract is interpreted exactly the same way.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Olga. We've all been in deals where the deciding factor wasn't the price or the product. It was that the contract felt like partnership.
Yeah. Instead of vendor may and customer shall, use things like we will. And both parties agree to. It just frames a relationship as a cooperative, not hierarchical, fair, where two parties come to the table to make 1 + 1 be greater, far greater than 2.
Yeah, no question, Olga. And making it readable, right? If it takes a lawyer 20 minutes to explain a paragraph, you've probably already lost momentum. So use plain English, clear headings, and summaries.
A cap but meaningful liability limit says we will own our part if something goes wrong. That signals confidence, not fear. That signals long-term commitment.
Yeah, and on top of that, validate with independent data, right? With TermScout Certify, you're not telling your customers that your terms are fair. You're showing absolute proof that's backed by market benchmarking. It's critical.
That's right. And when your contract is fair, clear, and respectful, negotiation shrinks from weeks to days and sometimes hours. We see it at TermScout daily. Buyers increase deal size because they feel safe, because the trust is there, and renewals and referrals happen organically.
Yeah, Olga, and when the trust is not there, you stall, you argue, you sometimes lose, and often without even hearing why.
So let's talk about those bad love letters, shall we?
Can't wait.
Here's mistakes to avoid. Overreaching IP claims. We want more than we need. Why? Why are your wants so big when your needs are so small? Really ask yourself why. What happened in your childhood? Two, unilateral termination. We can walk away. You can't. Why? Why do you need that freedom and you want to trap somebody? Again, what happened in your childhood? Hidden auto renewals. We are trapping you. Friend, if that's your first reaction, again, go back to your childhood. Why do you need to trap things in your life? And finally, things like unlimited liability disclaimers. We do not trust ourselves. And I really think that's a big thing. It means that I do not trust my product, I do not trust my team, and I really want to make sure that I'm not scarred because I am not able to perform. So be very careful about unlimited liability disclaimers.
Yeah, Olga, and every one of these, red flag in the dating world of business, right? They signal selfishness or insecurity, neither of which closes deals.
So, how to fix this? Let's talk about it. And here's my quick checklist. Review your main contract as if you were the buyer. Because it turns out if you won't sign the contract, if you were a buyer of something else, guess what? You really need to think about it. Two, flag any term you wouldn't sign yourself. Again, not just how the contract makes you feel, but if you would have never signed it, how do you expect your sales professionals, your frontliners to defend the contract you wrote? Three, benchmark. Use Term Scout. If you're confused how your buyers you feels, if you cannot be empathetic and put yourself in the shoe of another, no problem. It's not for everyone. Use objective benchmarks. You will get a very clear picture. Four, rewrite the worst offenders first. The things that I just listed. If you're optimizing for control, guess what? You're not optimizing for velocity and you're definitely not optimizing for revenue. And five, track close speed and pushback after each improvement. If things are going faster, push a boundary a little more because that trade off between control and friction is real. And there is no one right to slice and dice it, but you most definitely want to be intentional about it.
Yeah, and Olga, don't wait for a lost deal to learn a lesson, right? I mean, contracts are living, breathing brand artifacts, right? Don't wait.
Absolutely. And to wrap things up, your contract is one of the most important touch points in your customer journey. It is so important that they will never forget about it. In fact, they will say, if they treat me this way in contract, it will not get any better. This is as good as it gets. Treat it with the same care you give to your product, pricing, and pitch. It is that important.
Yeah, and really, in the end, Olga, a great contract says what? We respect you, we value you, we're here for the long run, and that's how you win, not just the deal, but the overall relationship too.
Yeah. Today we talked about love letters, and next time we'll tackle raising the kids and scaling the system together. Yep, from dating to kids, we go from one episode to another. Stay tuned. We will talk about how to keep the love alive between sales and legal and when the volume of deals spikes. I really hope you all have this challenge in your life.